Hey, thank you very much for clicking on welcome. Have you ever wondered how to find priceless antiques for just a few pounds? Stick around. In today's video, I'm going to share all my secrets. This is probably one of the most important videos you need to watch if you want to be a reseller or have a side hustle. Just this last month alone, some of the items I've discovered for next to nothing are a foot tall, solid silver vase from Iran, half a kilo in weight for 50 pence. A Moorcroft pottery lamp, flame of the forest pattern for £18, that's up for 400. A set of Waterford drinking glasses for £10, that's up for 300. There's so many more. It is so common for me to find things for £1, £2, £3, £4 and sell them for £100 plus. So throughout this video, I'm going to share my secrets, my tips to be able to help you to find these items yourself. So my first tip is this: there's no such thing as luck. You just need to do more. It's quite simple. The more stalls, the more car boot sales you attend, the more stalls you see, the more items you can potentially buy. Sounds simple, doesn't it? But a lot of people go to one small car boot sale a week or a fortnight and wonder why they're not getting any real gems. If you can go to 3, 4, 5 car boot sales in a week, you multiply your chances 10, 20, 30 fold. So before I get into all my real tips, here's a little bit about me. I have worked in and around the car boot sale scene for between 25 and 30 years. And before that, I was in amongst the car boot sales as a child with my parents. I buy and sell antiques, collectibles. I'm a reseller. I'm not so much a side hustle. This is my day job. I am talking from practical experience. This is what I do for a living, and I'm going to share these tips with you in order for you to be able to do it too. These are lessons that have been learned over decades, over countless mistakes, and I'm really hoping you find some value in them and utilize any that you feel you can. So, should we get started and look at some of the tips? Now, I ain't an expert. I'm not an expert in any field at all, but I'm a very, very good general dealer. I can identify all the top end. I can identify gold. I can identify silver, platinum, you name it. I can identify all precious metals. I research, but when I research things, I don't just go on to eBay or something and have a look what's sold. I go to the highest price. So the highest price thing in glass, there may be Baccarat, Clichy, Waterford, anything, and I'll search the highest priced items. It could be ceramics, Chinese porcelains, early 18th century Worcesters. I don't search run-of-the-mill products. There's only so much you can learn. And if I'm going to spend my time learning something, it's just as well be something that when I find it is going to earn me real money. There is also another side to that. You may not see a piece of Baccarat on the car boot sale. You may not see a piece of 18th century Worcester on the car boot sale. But when you're learning these real top end items, you're also learning how to spot quality. So when the quality appears at the car boot sale, you can distinguish it from the general run of the mill crap. So that means if you see quality, you can buy it, you can research it later. You don't have to know everything. I would say that each week I come back with 1 or 2 items that I have to research, and that's after 2.5 decades of doing this. But it's the learning is the fun thing. And when you pick something up, you can recognize the quality. You might not know what it is, but then that is like rolling a dice, and you get that thrill and that excitement. And you got the item, and you're going home, and you're thinking, what is it? What could it be worth? And it is so much fun to figure out what the item is and how much you've made. It really does add an element of fun to this game. It is the risk that is limited and pays off. Now, I've already said to you about volume. Yeah, if you only do 1 or 2 car boot sales now and again, what do you expect? You're not going to find a lot. But if you do loads of car boot sales, it has 2 things. First of all, as I've already said, it will allow you to see more stalls and have more chance of seeing something decent. But what it also does is this. Let's consider each table has 100 items. Give or take, that's not an unrealistic estimate. Some will have more, some will have less. But let's say on average 100 items. And let's say again, an average size car boot sale will have 100 stalls. Some have 5, some have a little less. So let's assume you do 3 to 4 car boot sales a week. That is 40,000 items a week you're assessing, you're valuing. It doesn't matter whether it's a quick scan over the table and you disregard everything. You're actually looking at all the items on every table, scanning in your brain, are they any good? So, if something goes, hang on a minute, I look a bit different. You're seeing 40,000 items a week. Multiply that over how long you're doing this for. If you're new to the game, you've still got an edge. You still got the 40,000 items a week you're looking at. And if something stands out to you and goes, well, you haven't seen me before, I'm a little different. Same principle, buy it. Take the chance. Because odds are, if you haven't seen one before and you're looking at 40,000 plus items a week, then it's going to be something. These are principles I work on all the time because you work out 25, 30 years of doing 40,000 pieces a week for the seasons, the car boot sale season, and up until recently, it was all year round because we had undercover ones for the winter time as well. So you can imagine how many items I have seen over the years. So when I come up to a car boot sale and I go, wow, I have never seen that before, the first thing I want to do is get my hand in my pocket. Now, this is going to be a very important one for you, right? And I'm going to title it Hold Back. Now, when you go to a car boot sale, I'm the first one to say you need to be there early. You need to be one of the first in the queue. When I go to my local car boot sale, I'm there 2 hours before it opens to be in the queue. I don't want to be 100 dealers deep before I even get into the field. That's 100 people with knowledge in front of me. But don't mistake that for me running through the stalls or diving in the backs of cars. Hold back. When you see a crowd of people at a stall, all around one table, that's 10, 15, 20 dealers fighting for the one item that comes out at a time from that car. It ain't going to happen. The chances of you getting that item is slim to nil. You're going to get frustrated. You're going to get annoyed that you've seen something great coming out on the other side of the table. Trust me, been there, learned my lesson. You were better off going back to the beginning and coming back through it again. And I'll tell you why. Objects of value, especially jewellery or small items like watches and things like that, get put on the stall last. More often than not, objects of value like jewellery are left in the front of the car. They set their stall up and they could be sat there having a cup of tea and think, I haven't put the jewellery out yet, and they'll go and get it from the front of the car. So it can be put onto the stall hour after they've set up. But it's unlikely they're going to put jewellery that they need to watch on a stall and then turn around and carry on loading the car. So when everybody else is fighting, unpacking that car or fighting to get whatever's coming out of that good car, you go back to the beginning. You walk back through there. I guarantee you'll find more doing that than you will fighting with the crowd in the back of a car. On the same principle, I would suggest you go through the car boot sale at least 3 to 4 times. Go in different directions each time. Now, what I tend to do, I'm a creature of habit. I go in this. There's 2 fields in my local car boot sale. I always start in the left field and I always go the same order and then to the next field. And then what I will do, I'll reverse and I'll go back through it the other direction and then I'll reverse again. And then once I've done that 3 or 4 times, what I probably do then, I just do the last 2 rows in each field. So I've literally spent 3, 4 hours walking around our car boot sale. And I tell you now, I still find stuff that people have missed. There really is stuff, gold and silver, coming out all the way through. That solid silver vase, that vase, Iranian silver vase I bought that in Cowbridge, hour after it was open, probably 500 dealers walking round, and I walked up to the stall and it was sat on the stall for 50 pence. Keep going around and around and around. Now, if you see boxes of ceramics and glasses and things under the table that they haven't even bothered to unwrap, take the time and unwrap it. because you never know if you're going to find an 18th century drinking glass or a real nice piece of porcelain in that box. And you never know, believe it or not. I have found gold and coins wrapped up in a vase in newspaper. I've unwrapped them like that and gone, oh my God, there's sovereigns, whatever, in the vase. People, they used to put precious objects in their vases and things in glass cabinets. And then when someone goes in and clears the house, they just pick it up, wrap it up, chuck it in a box. Unwrap every item. You're there for 3, 4 hours. Keep going round, unwrap every item. If you see boxes of silver plate on the floor, go through the silver plate. Check all the marks. If you're new at this, you'll have to pick every item up. But more often than not, once you've been doing it for a little bit, you can tell what's silver plate straight away, and then you've got to pick the other pieces up. Now, you could buy the silver plate if it's at the right money and chuck it in your scrap pile because it's all brass anyway, and you can weigh it in. Brass is a crazy price. And then you could check it when you get home. Or you check every piece looking for sterling. Now, another thing you've got to do is familiarize yourself with how to spot silver and gold, because there's a lot of foreign hallmarks. I bought a beautiful set of sterling silver tongs, which I'll share with you now, from another dealer, Kieran. He made a mistake. Back last year, I paid £2 for these tongs, and they're some of the best I've ever seen. I didn't recognize the hallmark, but I felt they were silver. If you can identify a piece of silver or a piece of gold, it doesn't matter then if it's foreign or not. If you can identify how to spot a piece of silver. One of the ways I do that is if you look for any scratches or any wear, and then you're trying to see the underlying metal underneath in a scratch. That's one way I do that anyway. Now, I've already said to stay away from the crowds and go back and round and round. Now, speed is important because you need to be there early, you need to get around as fast as you can, but don't confuse that with running through the boot sale. Once you get regular at a car boot sale, you'll know the stalls you can rush past. The market trader type stalls that don't sell the stuff you're going to need. The dealers who you know, you've looked at their stalls so many times and the stock never ever changes. Those stalls you can rush past. They're the type of stalls you can give a once over in your third or fourth lap. Right? You need to rush over those to get to the stalls that are potential stockholders. Now, when you're at them stalls, what I will say is do not get tunnel vision. Do not join the gold rush of 2024. Gold and silver are absolutely crazy prices, and everybody is getting tunnel vision. They're running as fast as they can through the car boot sale, and they're leaving good quality antiques. They're looking for a bit of gold or a bit of silver. It's quick, it's easy money, yes, but a lot of people are running past real quality antiques on a stall for a couple of pounds, chasing a bit of gold when there's 1,000 people chasing the gold. Not to mention, you're running that fast, you could miss a ring in a little box at the back of the stall because they're too busy looking for the big jewellery box full of jewellery. When you rush past the stalls that they're no good, once you get to a proper stall, take your time, evaluate it tidy. Take a minute at each stall. It doesn't matter, right? Don't worry about what someone else is finding on the next stall. Worry about what you could be leaving on the stall you're at. Believe me, there's more of a regret walking away from a stall, right? And I'm going to speak from experience, not for me, but for a friend of mine, to pick something up and put it back down on the stall and then have another dealer come along and buy it and have it worth thousands. Don't worry what someone else is having. Focus on what is on your stall. Once you've evaluated your stall, move on to the next one. It is not a race. And believe me, this really is an example where the tortoise would win against the hare, because when you take your time, you see so much more. And don't just see what's on the stalls. Listen to the stall holders when you're rummaging. Because the amount of times I've heard them say, oh, we've got that jewellery in the back to put out, and I'll turn around and I'll say, do you mind if I have a look at it, please? Take your time, listen to what's being said, and check the stall thoroughly. Now, don't listen to the naysayers, right? When you're at the stalls, if you see a box of jewellery and you start rummaging, especially if you're a man, all right, the first thing you hear out of the lady's voice behind the counter is, there's no gold in there. Now, I love it when they say that, because if I find gold, it means I'm buying it for nothing. And secondly, they don't know If I'm looking for silver, if I'm looking for coins, if I'm looking for vintage costume jewelry, some vintage costume jewelry sells more than gold. They focused on the yellow metal, which means anything else in that box is going to be for nothing. They're already convinced there's nothing of value in that box, so anything you pick up should be really cheap. If they say to you there's no gold in it, you get through that box anyway. And I suppose my final tip would be networking. Talk to other dealers, befriend other dealers, not while you're walking around. There's nothing worse than dealers wanting to come up to you and talk to you when you're on your first or your second lap. I want to have a chat. I'm sorry. I'll talk to you after I've done my laps. This is my time for work. I'll socialize after I've done that. But if they're on a stall, go back and see them at the end of the day. Make friends, networking. They'll learn eventually what you like to buy, and they will bring stuff in for you that doesn't even make it to the tables. And they'll say, I got stuff in the back of the car. Come see me when you've had a look round. All dealers know you have to have your look round first. They're not going to take it personal. They know we need to do our laps before we sit down and have a chat or socialize. Right? We all got to do it because there'll be nothing left afterwards. We are very good and proficient at picking a car boot sale clean of anything quality and precious. Now, I don't know if anybody watching has got any additional tips that I'm missing, but I've been doing this a very long time, and these are some of my most important tips that I try to live by, and you've seen what I pull out. And if you don't know me, go and check my website out, antiquesarena.com. I have got 5,000 of some of the best pieces you'll ever see on there. Some beautiful pieces for thousands, and it's all come from car boot sales. It really has. So, what do you think? Hopefully, if you got this far, this video will actually help you to source antiques and collectibles better. And if you're going to say to me that I don't drive, my local car boot sale is a £20 taxi ride away, then you have to ask yourself, are you making a living buying from charity shops or scraping along? And if the answer is yes and you're happy, fine. But if the answer is no, what could you be getting at a car boot sale? Now, some weeks you're going to get in a taxi, go to a car boot sale and get nothing. But if you follow my tips, I am telling you now, eventually you're going to start lucking on pieces. You'll go there 1 week, following my tips, you'll go there and you go, Christ, I had a gold bar, a gold bangle or something for 50p. And then you'll go there another week and you'll have like an 18th century drinking glass. My YouTube channel is fully designed to help you learn about antiques, collectibles, and side hustle and reselling. I got tutorial videos, tips videos, and my whole videos to share with you what I buy. All got tips in there. Tips on identification, tips on websites to use, tips on how to find the stuff. So utilize it all. But going back to the needing a taxi, if you need a taxi, pay for a taxi. But just because you don't score for 2 or 3 weeks, don't quit. Because you could go on the 4th week or the 5th week and you could hit on one item that can cover your entire season's taxi run. At the end of the day, it's all about growth. Do you want to stay little or do you want to grow? And you have to invest and believe in yourself. Now, whether that investment is money or in a taxi, or whether that investment is time in doing some research, we've all got to pay the bill. At the end of the day, 25 years in, and I'm still learning. I still make mistakes. I still sell stuff I shouldn't. I still leave stuff there I shouldn't. But that just makes it so much more fun, doesn't it? Because I'm still learning, and the day I stop learning, it'll probably get boring. Anyway, if you like my videos, please like, share, comment. Sharing I'd be eternally grateful. Help my channel get out there. But other than that, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you soon.